For so many years, the Okinawans have been the pinnacle of life expectancy. We've looked at them for evidence towards caloric restriction for living longer. We've looked at them for evidence towards fiber for living longer, for sweet potatoes, for lifestyle. But is it all, like now the newer data is suggesting that, nah, don't even pay attention to Okinawa. They're no better than mainland Japan. Well, no, I don't know. I don't know if I just want to take that to the bank. I want to look at the literature and I want to look at the reporting. So we're going to break this all down so we've got a really solid understanding of what's happening here. After today's video, speaking of caloric restriction, I put a link for LMNT electrolytes. For me, when I'm trying to restrict calories and trying to kind of change my body composition, one of the first things that I put into play is I drink a lot of electrolytes throughout the day. It keeps me super satiated. I feel like I'm consuming something that tastes good and it feels good, but I'm not consuming calories. So LMNT is 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, wrapped up in like insanely delicious flavors. Citrus salt, grapefruit salt, chocolate chai, chocolate caramel, like amazing. You can even have it hot. And it energizes you. A lot of times people feel sluggish, but realistically, they're just electrolytes are out of whack, especially if you're someone that works out a lot. Like you deplete yourself, you don't realize it. So that special link down below gets you a free sample variety pack with any purchase. So again, you use that link, you buy something, you get a free variety pack that shows up in the mail for you. You can give it to a friend, give it to your, don't give it to your dog, but you just save it for later, anything like that. So drinklmnt.com/Thomas down below. So a study published in Gerontology warns us that the Okinawans are not who we should be following and that they're no better than mainland Japan. I'm going to read an excerpt from that study. It states, "It should be noted that this longevity advantage in Okinawa is only observed for generations before World War II. Younger generation Okinawans are losing their longevity advantage. As of 2005, the life expectancy of an Okinawan was actually less than that of someone in mainland Japan. And chances are it's gotten worse. Since World War II, what ended up happening is you had a huge influence of just more processed food coming in. Like obviously Japan became a little bit more disrupted after the war, and it just changed how things were going in Okinawa. So also just with technology and life and transportation, it's easier to get just the regular food there. So the Japan lifestyle is no real different from the Okinawan lifestyle now. But the problem is that people take that, or they hear this, and they seem flabbergasted by it, and they throw all the science that we've learned about the Okinawans away. The science is still the same. What made the Okinawans such a unique territory was the fact that they lived in a mild chronic caloric deficit. They did. That is not changed. All the evidence is telling us now is that they're no longer the healthiest region. So if you went there today, it wouldn't be anything stellar, right? You wouldn't be like, this is how I need to live longer, because you could go to Japan and Tokyo and get a similar thing. As a matter of fact, what's funny is the longest living city in the world is Hong Kong. Not that that's Japanese, but the point is like, it's not what you would think. It's not this like pristine, beautiful thing with people harvesting sweet potatoes, right? But we could still eat like the old school Okinawans pre-World War II. Right? We could eat the high amount of sweet potatoes. We could live at the periodic deficit. Here's something important to know there. There was another study that was published in Nutrients, and I'm just going to kind of butcher this a little bit because I just don't have the notes refreshed in my brain, but essentially it was a study that found that with monkeys, they would only get the benefits of caloric restriction as far as life expectancy would go if they were eating a cruddy diet. Regular monkeys that were eating a diet that was nutritious could actually eat until they were full without restricting calories and live a long, vibrant, healthy life, longer than those even restricting calories. My point in saying this is that caloric restriction is not necessarily a must if your diet is really, really good. But I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that your diet is not really, really good. My diet is really good, but maybe not really, really good because I still like real food now and then. So I do rely sometimes on a caloric deficit. So I'll fast occasionally, I'll just restrict calories occasionally, I'll train harder, I'll achieve a deficit any other way, right? Now, another thing we have to factor in is if we look at the Okinawans as like a blue zone kind of thing, there was a 2010 BBC report that found that there was like 240 or 238,000 Japanese centenarians that were considered missing or dead. So when they actually looked into it, there weren't as many as we thought. But again, this is not necessarily like pre-World War II, this is now. And there wasn't good record keeping before World War II anyway. And who knows, like things could have gotten destroyed in the war. So we just can't say with absolute certainty. So now as time is moving on, we're realizing, all right, well, maybe there's other things we should be looking at rather than just old school data that might be flawed. But what we can take away from this is that the Okinawans did 3 really important things. They focused on lean, good quality protein. They're focused on fiber inadvertently. They were eating sweet potatoes. They were getting high amounts of antioxidants. There's polyphenic compounds in sweet potatoes that are hugely antioxidant rich, hugely powerful for us. Okay? And another thing that they really focused on is they were very family centric, very relationship centric. So we cannot take those things away. Okay? Those things are important. They may be limited now, but there's still things that we can bring back in. I'm sure there were other factors. I'm sure the Okinawans lived long because there was fresh air and there was not a lot of pollution and the environment was great, things that might not be the same today. But the bottom line is that people today are living longer than ever because of the advent of medicine, antibiotics, whatever's needed to live longer, surgery, emergency services. It's just that our health span is not good because our diet is poor, our activity is low, and we're sick and overworked. So how do we leverage all the benefits that we're getting today with modern medicine with what we know from pre-World War II to have worked for healthy, sustainable, long life? If we can combine those and we can allow those to live in harmony, we can have a lot of success. I'll see you tomorrow.